Welcome to today's video. Before we jump into the topic of this video, I'm going to share with you guys my project transformation. I'm day 70 into the progress, 86.8 kilo today. This is how I look when I started, and this is how I currently look. I'm about 4 kilos down and I'm super excited to keep on pushing. Now I know the uploads for my YouTube has been a bit slow. I'll try my best to keep up the pace because you know when you're dieting down, I get really fatigued nowadays, like really easily. And my whole game plan right now is to be able to be consistent with the YouTube videos while making sure my progress is getting in. Hit the thumbs up button first and we're gonna jump into the topic of this video. What is bulking? What is cutting? I want to make this as simple for you guys, especially for those who are new to the gym and into the fitness lifestyle. You know, you want to put on more muscles or you want to shred down more body fat. This is a very simple video that I want to share my experience with. At the same time, just explain to you guys bulking, cutting. You hear this all the time. So this video is mainly for educational purposes. Everyone has a unique journey in fitness. You probably know some of them, and maybe even just you, who might gain weight a lot more easier, while some might find it really hard to put on weight. And you probably know those guys who are really athletic, naturally strong. And the thing about bulking and cutting is to shape how your physical appearance look like, at the same time your performance in a lot of physical movements. You don't have to become a bodybuilder or some really shredded dude. And at the end of the day, I truly believe that everybody still want to reach to a certain level of fitness. Now, what is bulking? You probably think bulking is I eat everything. I have to eat so much food in order to fill my stomach up so I can put on more weight. That is true, but in order to break it down to more scientific word, bulking is going through a phase of a caloric surplus where you are intentionally trying to put on more weight. And when I talk about weight, I specifically want to target more about muscle mass. So if you are someone who wants to put on more strength, you want to put on more size, at the same time you want to just pack on more performance in whatever that you do, bulking is a great way to start off. And the thing about this is you don't need to eat everything, guys. You just need to eat more specific food, like more carbohydrates, eat a great amount of protein, and you know, a decent amount of fats here and there to make sure that you're on a caloric surplus. And when you are on a caloric surplus, your body will automatically take those food and store them into energy and produce more muscles or even put on more weight. Now the cutting phase is the opposite of bulking. Cutting is when you're going through a caloric deficit. Basically, I'm in a calorie deficit right now. You are actually burning more than what you eat. So by doing that, you are forcing your body to take out more of your body fats as energy, and then you use that to get leaner. The main goal for cutting is to obviously shred down body fat and reveal the muscles that you have. So if you are someone who is in the skinny fat section or you're much more overweight, this phase is mainly to focus on shredding down body fat. Now that you guys have gotten a rough idea of what bulking and cutting is, I want to share my personal experience with you because I think my journey so far can definitely give you guys some insight. And I want to advise you guys not to do these mistakes because this is something that I did. I was born very skinny. I was a tall, lanky guy, and obviously I wanted to put on more muscle mass. Back in the day, I used to eat everything. I tried to take in as much calories as much as possible. I didn't really know what was I aiming for. All I knew was I didn't want to be skinny. Candy, donuts, you give me chicken breast, you give me some pork, some beef, meat, poultry, eggs. I eat everything because my main goal is just to put on more weight. There was a fire in me that I really just wanted to just do it, and I didn't think so much, right? I was just doing that. And the second mistake that I did was I took a lot of protein. I thought that supplement was everything. Basically, after eating heavy meals, I would take in crazy amount of supplements. My body ended up looking like this. This is a common mistake that most skinny people who wants to put on weight fast is doing, and I don't recommend that. I always suggest to do something more sustainable. If you guys want to check out some bulking tips, I did make a video down below. You guys can check it out. It's a video that I share about my best tips of what you should do when you're bulking. So moving on to my second experience about cutting. You know, when I first started my cut, I was terrible at this. I didn't know what I was doing. All I knew was I thought carbohydrate was the enemy of your body fat, right? Like if you cut off carbohydrate, you will get lean fast. That may be true, but that was extremely suffering. It was something that I had to make massive sacrifices because when I cut off my energy source, I had to depend my energy from different areas. If let's just say you're just eating chicken breast and broccoli, it will ruin your metabolism and I don't recommend that. But that was something that I did. This is how my body looked like. Although I look extremely lean, do take note about this. This was me committing to the gym 6 times to 7 times per week, and I was just training insanely. I was eating too clean to the point that I didn't really have a life. And that's something that is not sustainable. And if you were to introduce back carbohydrates and just starting to eat, I mean, chances are if you're just like me, it was really hard for me to control what was I eating and sustain that body, and my body ended up looking like that after just a few months. It's not worth it. To me, something like this is not sustainable. It's not backed up by the science. Always find an alternative, a way that is sustainable for you guys. If you guys want any cutting tips, I did make a video down below as well. You guys can check it out. Now that you guys know a bit of my experience, I want to share you guys the pros and cons about bulking and cutting. The pros about bulking is that you have crazy amount of energy, you are strong as hell, you can eat almost anything as long as it fits into your macros. Bulking, to me, that was the best pro. And the con about bulking is that if you bulk, your body naturally will store more body fat when you are doing that phase. You don't look conditioned, you don't look ready for any photo shoot. So one more thing that I want to add on is this mental comparison that I had. Someone like me who have gotten to below 10% body fat, you know, taking off my shirt in public was not as confident as when I was as lean. When you have reached to that level of how your physique looks and taking off your shirt and you're not in that same condition, it does mess with your head a little bit. So that is the cons for bulking. Other than that, I think if you can somehow override that thought, life is pretty good. Now we're gonna talk about cutting. The pros about cutting is obviously when you are able to successfully burn down all the body fat and reveal your body, the way you look is sick. It's not common for people to have this kind of body, but when you are looking like that, photo shoot ready, you can take off your shirt anytime you want. The confidence is so much more different than when you are bulking. The cons is so much more, in my opinion, lack of energy, because you need to be on a calorie deficit in order to burn that body fat. So you are forcing your body to push out more energy. Your strength and your muscle mass will drop because when you are on a deficit, you will also burn off muscle. So our goal is to preserve as much muscle as much as possible. And you get tired all the time, like it's really hard for you to operate at a high level as compared to when you're bulking, you're just full of energy. When you're cutting, you have to restrict a lot more food, kind of just focus on what allows your body to protect more muscles and burn more fat. And if you used to be a high sex drive person, when you're doing a cut, you have like no sex drive, especially the longer you go, the lesser sex drive you have. So in my opinion, which one is a lot more easier is obviously bulking, you know. But the funny thing about this is that when you're bulking, you kind of want to cut, and when you're cutting, you kind of just want to bulk, right? So that is the dilemma right there, but it's okay. It's important to go through these phases to see what you can bring out of yourself. If you choose to cut or even bulk, the first thing I always say is to set a timeline. The timeline is the most important factor because you need to know how long you're going to be committing into this phase. At the end of the day, these two phases requires time, and of course experience do make it a lot better. Personally, I've done this a few times, and each time I'm doing it, I'm getting better and better. So to give you guys a rough estimation, I like to do a lean bulk for 6 to 8 months, sometimes even longer. But when I set my mind that I want to do a photo shoot or want to get really lean, I will go on a cut for about 3 to 4 months. Do take note, this works very well for me because I've done it a few times, and the best thing to know whether it works for you is to try it out yourself. Some people might take a lot more longer, while some might take a lot more shorter. Alright, I've covered the topic of what bulking and cutting is. If you guys want a full curriculum of knowing what to eat, how to calculate your caloric intake, how do you train in the best possible way, how do you put on more muscle mass, how do you burn fat, I spent a lot of time to create these two programs, backing it up with science, experience, result, a full detailed guide for you in order to reach to your goal, whether you want to bulk or whether you want to cut. If you guys are interested, you guys can check out my program. Size is for lean bulking and Rapid is for fat loss focus, basically a cut. Other than that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give this video a big thumbs up and share it to your friends if you guys learned something, and I shall see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching. Peace out.